let's talk about cartridges. So today I've got the range that we make in our roll-on waxes on the station here. So we have the multi-wax heater, we have the single handheld roll-on wax heater, and we also have the different variety of cartridges and the Waxpert system. So there's a few things to consider here. So with your roll-on system, as I said, there's 4 different varieties in the wax. So when we think about roll-on wax and cartridge waxing, we do need to think that we're going to be using this typically on larger areas, so legs, arms, chests and backs. So that type of hair, traditionally, particularly if they have shaved, might be short, coarse and stubborn. So something like your olive oil, your Viva Azure or your Strawberry Delight are all good for removing those types of hairs. If you're dealing with clients with sensitive skin, you do have your Brilliance roll-on as well. So what we do when we're setting up the system is that we take a cartridge and we pop it into the unit, so removing this label first, sitting it into the cartridge heater like so. Now we also do make disposable waxing skirts. So if you have ever had trouble in the past with wax leaking from the top of the roller into your system, this handy little skirt will slip underneath so that you can add an extra protection layer. Because as you can see with this system here, if any wax does dribble down when you're using the system into the unit, when you go to pull your cartridge out, you will be doing that with great difficulty. So it is really important to use your skirts and to remember to keep this clean when it's in use. How you do that is by simply just using some of your after waxing oil onto a strip. So if you just keep this on the station with you at all times, and then when you see any dribbles, just simply wipe as you go. If you do that, then you don't have to worry about cleaning at the end of the day and also about ruining your system. Now you can see how I've got that set up here. I've actually got 2 sitting on the station, so you might be wondering why. So obviously if you're a busy waxing salon and maybe you're only using roll-on wax to do your body waxing, so if this cartridge was empty and I didn't have another one sitting here which was warming the wax, then I wouldn't be able to finish the treatment. So with our system, all you do is it has an interconnectable base and you can just join 2 systems that are connected by 1 cord, and that way, once this one runs out, you've always got this one ready to go. Now there is another option, so we'll talk about the multi-heater over here. So as you can see, this system actually holds 6 cartridges. So that means if you didn't want to have 2 or 3 of these on your trolley, you could have more cartridges that would simply slot into here, heating, maybe even in the back room. They don't even have to be in the waxing room. So if you do run out, they're warm, you just take that straight out of the multi-heater and pop it into the handheld piece. Now what a lot of people do with this system here is that sometimes they do neglect to buy the handheld piece. So people will be using these cartridges straight out of the unit just by supporting it with a strip. Now that's okay, but there is a few things you need to consider when you're doing that. First of all, this is going to be very hot. So when you're pulling it out of the multi-system and you're just holding it with a strip, it's quite hot on your hand. Also, if I was doing a leg wax, for example, and rolling all the way down the full legs, then I'm going to lose temperature because this is not touching an element, it's not staying warm. So by using it in your handheld piece, it's going to keep that constant temperature. This also has an adjustable dial on the front here. So just making sure that it is on between 4 and 5 while you're doing your treatment. The warmer this wax is, the better. It will flow out of the head quicker and you won't have any trouble with it drying too quickly on the skin or not coming off with the strip. If any of those things are happening, it could be because your system is too cold. That's why I'm saying when you're using the multi and you're just keeping this out of the system, it is going to get cold. So just think about if you're having trouble, it might be worth just investing in the handheld piece as well. Even if you just had one of them, as I said, you've always got reserves heating in this system here. Now a few other things about the multi-system as well. It does have a temperature dial on the side of it. Now we would recommend that you only keep that on between 4 and 5. It can get very, very hot. And if these heads are keeping constant contact with the back of the multi-heater, you may have trouble with the heads cracking. Now that can happen obviously if your stock control isn't great and you're not moving them around. So make sure you just use, for example, bays 1 to 3 first. and then use bays 5 to 6, clear them all out, and then restock again. So that way you're not leaving these in there for potentially, you know, weeks or months on end, because they are keeping constant contact with the heating element. So the lids can crack. So just be aware of that one there. Now also, like I said, we do have the wax spurt system. So you will notice when you're looking at our cartridges, they do have a little label on the front here that says fixed roller head or refillable roller head. So you've got options with this system. Either with the fixed, just use the entirety of the cartridge and then throw it in the bin. You cannot get this head off. It will not move. It will not let you refill it. It's just one use only. The refillable head, like this one here, you'll just be able to use your CaronLab tool to flick out the top of the head, heat up your wax spurt in the microwave so it's nice and runny, and then at the end of the day, hopefully you've got a receptionist or you've got time yourself to just go around and refill all the cartridges, and then you can get a couple of uses out of that head. Now keep in mind, this is just plastic, and if you are flicking it in and out, it's only going to be a matter of times that you can refill. So you would just use it maybe 2 or 3 times refilled, and then throw the whole system in the bin and start again with a fresh cartridge. Just because we obviously don't want the heads falling off when we're mid waxing or anything like that, and it is plastic, so we just need to keep in mind it's not going to last forever.